Living by Design, Simple Paths to Success in Your Home and Life. This is the James R. Elliott podcast, and I have David Dippong, my special guest today. We'll be talking about simple paths to success in your home and life and living by design. Welcome, David. Welcome.
Thank you, sir. Glad to
Cheers.
be here.
Glad to have you here. Backstage, you and I were talking a bit again about some of these simple paths to success personally, in your home, in your real estate portfolio, and in your life, of course, as well. Let's dive right into these. And what would you say are some of your top ways to either design your life or design these paths to success? What are these paths to success in life and business and finance, would you say?
The simplest way I can put it is when you create a goal for yourself that emotionally connects with you, it doesn't just mentally connect with you. You now have an actual legitimate chance at success. And so the simple paths and tools to success are often
Right.
how to break down that end goal into simple or tiny, easily digestible weekly, monthly, daily steps. That way, you're never thinking about the 30-year goal and panicking and feeling overwhelmed, but you are connected with why you're building that new habit in the first place. So it becomes a lot more compartmentalized with the way humans think, which is just about the short term mostly.
Fair. It's like that expression, how do you eat an elephant? Well, one bite at a time, right? And it's versus these monumentally huge or scary, even abstract goals are like I said, our brain has trouble with abstraction. And to your point, having the daily, weekly, monthly goals and actions and behaviors you need to consistently do to get you there, that's the key. And that's because, like you said, that's how our brain works. I agree.
They, yeah, I mean, it causes a very real anxiety, and anxiety stresses you out, and stress kills you.
Hmm.
So if you manage to work with somebody to develop a plan, like for your real estate or for your fitness or for your everything, and all you need to do is wake up and say, I have to do this one bite today. And eventually, it doesn't matter what happens, my goal will inevitably be accomplished. I no longer have to worry about it. I just have to do today's bite, as opposed to seeing an elephant in the distance and going, "Oh God, there's no way I'll ever be able to take that guy down." You just have to, you have to get, you have to emotionally connect in a way that helps you. Whereas that anxiety, that overwhelm, that stress is connecting to it in an emotional way that will paralyze you.
Exactly. I agree. Tell us more about that too, because I agree, and I've seen it both of myself in the past and others that the doubt, I think people have a big sense of doubt when it is too abstract because it's too pie in the sky, too abstract, too big to even comprehend. And to your point, I think that can cause a lot of doubt, or to your point, anxiety and the paralyzation. Why do you think that happens? And again, is there any specific tools you use to get out of paralyzation other than planning? Or is it planning a certain way and creating a plan in a certain way to get past that paralyzation?
I found that building habits is something that we were also designed to do, right? You have to be self-aware. We're human beings, we're animals. We are biologically designed to survive a certain way. And that's why our brains remember negative. We place so much more emphasis on negativity. We like because negativity helps you survive,
Mm,
especially out in the wild. Well, when you start weaponizing habits for yourself, when you start saying, "Hey, I would really like to be in shape," and you say, "Here's what I need to do to get in shape." Now you have to look at the other side of it, which is I'm a human being, which means I have to do something consistently to make it easy.
mm.
And I have to like it or I'm not going to do it.
Fair. Yes, exactly.
So you
That's
have to
true.
work backwards and say, okay, well, if I do have to exercise 30 minutes a day, and if I do have to eat this way,
Mhm.
or this many calories, or whatever your plan is, you have to say, okay, well, what is the exercise I most like doing? And what is the food that fits in this category that I most like eating? So not only are you building habits that will increase your health, longevity, invest in your long term just by merely doing them every day. But you're also doing them in the way that you enjoy the most. And it makes it so much easier for you to remain consistent when you enjoy something
Yeah.
than when you don't.
Yeah. Fair. Fair. How would you suggest, or what would you suggest to make sure people do enjoy things? How can they find enjoyment? Like I said, going to the gym or eating better, or getting making sales calls or whatever, is sticking to like you said, habits and patterns and a routine. Any suggestions on ways people can actually enjoy doing that? Because I agree, if they enjoy it, they'll do it. What is any keys or secrets or hacks to actually like things more, like doing things more?
There's a few things you can do. First is resonating with your goal. Like everybody will tell you, oh, you need this much money, you have to do this, you have to do this. But people don't make decisions based on logic. They make decisions based on emotions, and then they back them up with logic after the fact.
Exactly.
They
I
go,
know they
ah, it
need the
made
advice.
sense.
Exactly.
Um, so if you aren't doing the thing that you think you should be doing or you should be doing, there's a reason. It doesn't resonate with the person you want to be. It's not something you want out of life. It's not who you want to be every day a little bit more after this. Well, then that's a clear message that you need to adjust into the thing that you actually enjoy doing. You have to actually set that goal, figure out who you want to be, and then you'll be able to start making that change. Honestly, the biggest issue is that people they don't they have a fear of missing out. They live in a very short-term world.
True. True.
And instead of looking at it as how can I do everything right now? It helps to start shifting your mindset to the long term and say, what can I do today that will make every day I exist after this better? What will make me enjoy every day of my life a little bit more after this because I did it? And you slowly become the person you're designing, and then you live that life by design because of the 300, 600, 900 daily steps you took to get there. You're only sacrificing, and I hate to use that word,
Mm.
3 years, but the trade-off is you get to live every one of the 40, 50, 60 years after you've made that change exactly in line with who you want to be.
Fair. I like that a lot. And like you said, whether it's, I agree, I don't love the word sacrifice, but you're maybe committing. You're committing to making sure you give your best to that thing for the next 2, 3, 4 years, whatever it is. That way you can live the rest of your life in an amazing, kick-ass way, freedom, whatever it is, right? So I like how you said that.
And it's a little scary, right? Because as soon as you commit and you say, this is the person I want to be, now there's a possibility of failing to become that person, whether or not that reality is actually there. If you think it is, now there's a very real stress factor that rather than not committing and thinking you've got time, you've got time, you've got time. That the important thing is that you connect with that emotional cost, and then you find somebody who is qualified to either coach or guide you in each one of these areas of your life, because no one succeeds alone. But if somebody had me for real estate, a personal trainer for fitness, a like nutritionist for their overall health, a financial planner for their other investment. If somebody was leveraging all of the resources that they have available to them just in today's world where we have the most information and opportunity
Mhm.
available,
Ever. Yeah.
you'll always get one step closer to your goal, even if you don't hit it in the time that you would have liked to. There is no failing unless you stop and you quit and you decide that that isn't what you want anymore. In which case, great, you decided you want something else better, and conceivably, you're going to match that. You're going to resonate with that life more, which is going to make it easier. So, any step you take in the right direction is still a step in the right direction.
Fair. I like that a lot, actually. And you're right. As long as you don't quit or you don't, as long as you don't quit, you don't fail. People that give up. I mean, there's the miner's story, the 10 feet from gold, and all these metaphors about keeping going until you get what you want, unless you change and decide you want something different. I think it's a very valuable lesson as well. Um, Talk to us a bit, because I love what you're saying. Talk to us again. You're obviously in real estate and leveraging real estate as well to help create a life by design. How do you do that? How do you teach people to do that? How can someone use real estate to live a life by design?
Real estate's almost the ultimate form of that because it requires time to work, but once you've given it time, there's almost nothing that works better. You could start in real estate in your 20s, buying a house with 3% down, all of your savings. Within the next 10 years, it'll become all the money you need for the next property. In your 30s, within the next 10 years, it'll become all the money you need for your next property in your 40s. And over the course of 40 years, you could turn not barely having the down payment on a duplex or a single family or a condo into a multiple properties delivering you a total of 30,000 a month passive income.
True, true.
Now that number might vary at the end of it, but imagine what your family could do and every generation that comes after you could do if they started the game in their 20s with an additional $150,000 passive coming in. Imagine what they could choose for their life and how they could build every generation could build that wealth after you because of what you left it. It's not all of a sudden, but every single day that goes by without taking one of those steps or without owning the home or without having the plan in place, that's the only time you won't get back.
Correct. You can't make it back. Agreed. I think people, to your point, often they're scared or scared to make mistakes, which I suppose that's why there's coaches out there. That's why you exist, right? Help people to figure out how to make these leaps and these plans and take action, to your point, and not getting. I made a mistake. I have a condo and I Airbnb it because I'm gone half the year in the summer. But I made a mistake, and because I bought a rental place, and it was a duplex, top and bottom floor, rented it out. And I sold it when I moved away from there, thinking and having some pressures, thinking that, oh, it'd be tough to maintain. You're starting your business, you're going to be far away, and it'd be hard, when I could have just hired someone to maintain it for me. And that my mistake was selling it, because after 8 years of owning it, it doubled in income, doubled in value, excuse me. And then in the year and a half, 2 years after that, it doubled again, because how real estate had changed in the area. And so again, I don't think I need to explain why it's such a mistake. I missed on doubling the income. I missed on, that was about 20 years ago. No, it was 15, 20 years ago. So again, 15, 20 years of increasing, renters paying my mortgage, my place increasing. But again, I still did it, and there's no failure, only feedback. And to your point, it's that lesson of, okay, I'll do it again, because I don't want to lose any more years. And using the equity in, like you said, the condo, to be able to help me buy another place, and then another, and another too.
I mean, that's a common story. The only thing that really levels the playing field is information.
Hmm.
When I talk to clients or when I talk to people that aren't clients yet, even if they want to sell, I always take them through, well, what are the other options? Is selling really the best option for you? Because keeping, especially in Southern California, will always or arguably be one of the best investments you could make. So I always make sure that say like, hey, what are the options to keep it? What are the options to sell it? What are the consequences on both sides? The little bit of extra effort managing a property versus paying taxes on $1 million in equity.
Oh, exactly, exactly. And then how much money, like, okay, if you kept it for 10, you may want to sell it for whatever it is, but if you kept it for 10, 12 more years, this is the income you'll be missing out on. And then 20
Yeah.
years, this is the income you missed, to your point. Exactly. And if I had someone like yourself, if I had someone coaching me, I would still own the place. It would be paid off. My mortgage would be zero, and my income would be, I don't know, probably at least $4,500 a month on that one place.
Or you could have structured it to do a 1031 exchange and deferred into 100% of the taxes. There's
True.
there's such a stigma, I think, from seeking help, either from coaches, from
Anyone.
real estate professionals, anybody who might be considered a salesman who's trying to sell you on something, because the generations before us have been taken advantage to a certain extent.
Fair.
But
Fair.
what we have now is a market where there's so many options and you have so much information available at your fingertips that you have to be accountable and you have to say, hey, I'm going to talk to four different people. And I want to make sure the person I hire understands my goals, and I want to make sure they understand my budget, and I want to make sure they're going to be the best option for me. Because I think
Fair.
a lot of what happened was people just believed
And
blindly before. They didn't have the information, they didn't have the internet, they didn't have the ease of access to it. And now that you do, they still have the resentment from being, past generations getting that sales call during dinner and their dad yelling and hanging up the phone, as opposed to what they could be looking at it now as a free information source
yeah, yeah.
that if what they're telling you does end up being true, now you have somebody you can trust and you can go to from now on, even if you've missed out on a little bit of time.
I agree with that, and I think you're right. There's the stigma of hiring help, or it's going to cost me money, and I think people need to stop seeing any investment in a mentor, a coach, a marketing thing, a program, or whatever as a cost. It's an investment. I was having a conversation with a real estate agent the other day who saw even my coaching fee as a cost. I'm like, no, no, no. Even if I make you one more deal as a real estate agent, you're probably doubling or tripling my fee. Even if, let's say, even David, if you had to charge me, let's say $50,000 or $60,000, it's probably not what you charge, but if you would charge 50, 60K to me in the old days, good old days, and I didn't sell my home, I would have had currently probably a $55,000 a year income. Plus, my house would be completely paid off. It'd be worth probably 1.3 million. I'd have a million, more than $1 million asset and a 55K every year income. So again, it's all investments. And to your point, some people have been burned because they haven't done as much due diligence or checked references, or they believed blindly, or they were schmoozed and didn't check references, didn't look at testimonials and reviews and things, and just versus really making sure someone's a real deal. Because again, I think investing in the right folks will make you tons of money and save you tons of money.
Well, it's the only way you can get back your time, right? You have a guy, you don't diagnose yourself and prescribe yourself medicine. You don't represent yourself in the court of law. You don't do these things because there's other people that will get you a better outcome, give you back your time, and give you the service that you need. And to your point, when you start to rely on these people, you get to I don't know, it's freeing. It's comforting. When you start to rely on these people and they actually win for you, when that
Mm.
person does close two deals and now your fee has made them double then they start to see it as an investment. And the key is not connecting to the financial cost. It's connecting to the emotional cost. What will you do if you wake up 10 years from now and you are in the exact same place you are today because you didn't invest in yourself?
That's exactly it. Yeah. Where would
There's no monetary cost there, but there's a huge emotional and time cost that you'll never get back.
True, true. And I even say there probably is some kind of financial. Say, what did you miss out on? Like, what could it be? Again, me, 45K a year in income and having $1 million asset. But again, no lessons. So no failure, only feedback and lessons, which is fine. I need to have you back on for a part two because we're already almost out of time.
Oh
What
man.
would you like to leave people with? This is great. I love this conversation. What would you like to leave people with? Just living by design in general. What do you think, David?
The the best way to look at it is what step can you take that every single day you're going to wake up tomorrow and be a little bit more of the person that you want to be. How can the things you're doing this month, this year, even if it's going to take 300 daily steps to accomplish it, how can you do something today that's going to make you enjoy the person you are a little bit more? because you have to be a little bit selfish in life to really commit to affecting the environment around you. And if you haven't taken care of yourself, if you haven't made sure that you are the person you want to be,
Mm,
there's no way you can go out into the world and affect others in a positive way. You will run out of your own limited resources
sure.
long before you make a lasting impact on the people that really matter to you.
Right on. And trying to do it all yourself. Yeah. And we next talk, let's have a talk on, why people are so not insistent, but stuck on doing things all themselves. And I think it drills down to some deeper level stuff. But I'd love to have you back. Let's chat about that. I think that is a very valuable thing. Why do people insist on doing it all themselves? We'll have a whole podcast on
Absolutely.
that.
I mean, we could just keep rolling it,
Right
get
on,
some
brother.
listener feedback and say,
Right on.
hey, this is what you guys need to discuss this time.
Right on. Exactly. Exactly. How can people, in the meantime, how can people reach you? Who do you love to work with? How can people reach out to you?
So the easiest way is through my website, www.dippongrealestate.com. If you're looking for more of a personal coaching, you can always reach out to me at my email address. It's just D as in David and then my last name at gmail.com. So DDIPPONG at gmail.com. And whether you need real estate advice, guidance, or whether you just need a life coach and you want somebody to start helping you feel accountable and actually make progress towards those goals, I'm here to do both because what I've realized is information is the great equalizer. And all some people need to succeed is one, learning the information and having at least one other person on their side.
Sure, sure. And I'll caveat the correct information because with Google and AI, there's lots of information, but what is
Yeah.
the correct? Yeah, what is the correct thing to do? Because you can waste a lot of money or make a lot of money depending which one you choose.
Well, definitely. Google has an opinion, and AI always has an opinion. And as much as that sounds weird, it takes everything that you do into account. So if you say, "How bad is this?" question mark, it's going to find people that think that this is bad. And then on the other side, when you Google, "How good is X?" it's going to find reasons why these people that agree with that opinion are good. But it's not going to give you bare bones net information that you
Yes,
can use for your benefit.
true, true. Especially based on where you are, your needs, anything. Right on. Exactly, exactly. Well, this has been awesome, brother. Let's have you back on. We'll talk talk about, taking advice and getting coaching, getting mentorship and some things like that. That'd be an interesting talk. One more time, your website, please, my good man.
www.dippongrealestate.com, Dippong realestate.com. And you can connect with me, you can email me, you can call me. I'm here to help, even if you need the information, but you need to work with somebody else to trust that I'm telling you the real stuff. I exist to achieve my goals through being of service to others.
Beautiful. I love it. And likewise, too. So a brother from another mother, that's for sure. You definitely get me and I definitely get you, brother. Thanks for being on my show and helping give some value to the world.